This is the video for Unit 7, Day 14, and today we're continuing order of operations, and now we're going to introduce variables. If you remember, variables are when we use a letter to represent some amount in a math situation. And today's video is dedicated to Joseph in 6C. Hey, Joseph. So before we start our new lesson, which is going to be the last new lesson of Unit 7 before our test, I first want you to answer on your own, in your own words, there's no right or wrong answer, what do you remember about order of operations from what we did yesterday? Okay? So go ahead and take about 30 seconds to write your answer for this problem right here. What do you remember about order of operations? And this is just to, get your brain going so you can start answering that question now, writing about what you remember about order of operations. And if you need some extra time to finish writing, you can go ahead and pause the video and then continue once you're finished. And then next, I want you to answer this second question here. Why do you think the order of operations is important? Again, no right or wrong answer. I just want you to start thinking and putting in your own words why you think the order of operations is important. So take another 30 seconds. You can pause the video if you need to. When I'm checking your classwork, I want to check that you have written your answer for these two problems here. Alright, so now let's review quickly what we did yesterday. Anytime we're working with order of operations, you want to remember this right here, PEMDAS. Always think PEMDAS when you see multiple operations. The P in PEMDAS is what we do first. P stands for parentheses, so let's write that, parentheses. Right, and that's like when we have something like that, right? And we might have 2 plus 5 on the inside, or maybe we might have 3 times 6 on the inside. So we would solve what's inside the parentheses first. Next, the E, do you remember? Stands for exponents. Right, that's like 2 to the third power, or 5 squared. So after we've checked and finished any parentheses and then finished the exponents, the third thing that we're going to do is the M and the D. Do you remember that? Multiplication or, right, division. And anytime there's multiplication or division, we're just going to solve that going from left to right. Right, that might be like 2 times 5 or 6 divided by 3. And then the last thing that we're going to do in the problem is the A and the S. And I'm sure, as you've already filled out by now, that is addition or subtraction. And for that, you also go from left to right. Right, that might be 2 plus 5, for example, or 6 minus 3. Okay, so now let's do one together. And this time, continuing off of what we learned yesterday, this one has a variable. So first, anytime you're solving a problem like this, right, you want to write PEMDAS right next to the problem so we can remember the order, right? P, E, M, and D, A, and S. Okay, so first, 4 times, and then in parentheses, x minus 2 squared minus 6 divided by 2. And it's telling us we're trying to figure out what this equals when x equals 5. So what we're going to do first is we're going to plug in this value of x, 5, wherever we see x, which is right there. So let's rewrite our situation. 4 times, and then instead of x, right, now it's 5. 5 minus 2 squared minus 6. All of that is over 2. So what we just did there, right, we put 5 in for x. Now we have 5 here. And then, right, in PEMDAS, first we check, are there any parentheses? Yes, right here. So that's what we're going to solve first. Right, I'm going to circle it because that's what we're going to do first. And then we get 4 times, and then 5 minus 2 in the parentheses is 3 squared minus 6 over 2. Okay, so we've done the parentheses. Next is E for exponents. We check our situation here, or our expression. Do we have any exponents, any numbers to a power? Yes, we do, right here. So I'll circle that. That's what we're going to simplify next. So that gives us 4 times, and then 3 squared is 3 times itself, right? I'm going to, in this top right, write you a reminder. 3 squared is the same thing as 3 times 3, which is equal to 9. So 4 times 9 minus 6 over 2. All right? So we've done the P, the E, that's done. And then next is the M and the D in PEMDAS. Right, we've done these with these. Now we're at the M and the D. So I check my expression. Is there any multiplication or division? Okay, and I do. I have 4 times 9. So that's, I'm going to circle that because that's what I'm going to do next. So 4 times 9 is 36 minus 6. I still have that same minus 6 over 2. All right, and then that's all the multiplication and division that I can do. And then the last step is the A and the S of PEMDAS. Is there any addition and subtraction that I can do to simplify? Yes, there is. 36 minus 6 is 30, and that's all over 2. Now, if this fraction was in its lowest terms, I would be done. However, I also have to check 30 over 2 or 30 halves. Can I simplify that any further? Well, I check how many times can 2 go into 30? 15 times. So 30 over 2 equals 15. Okay, now I'm done. I followed all the steps in PEMDAS, simplified this into 15 after I plugged in 5 for x. Okay. Now I want you to try on your own on this problem here, and you should be able to finish all the problems on page 4 as well. Okay. Good luck.